Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for telling mom she will no longer see wife or baby? Since fam has main so. Me and wife have a newborn. Who is breastfed. My wife hates confrontation. She never stands up for herself. She won't argue with anyone. Ever, I mean ever. She will let you walk all over her and then apologize to you. It used to be infuriating because she's the sweetest soul and she just lets people say what they want and she doesn't deserve it. But after talking, there is a good reason behind it. So we are working together how to fix this. Well, one thing, she always felt afraid. Not because she didn't want to, but she knew it caused confrontation, was breastfeeding anywhere but the house or in a bathroom or closet, and we will keep a blanket. It took a lot of explaining, but unless she is uncomfortable with breastfeeding out, there is no reason to hide in a bathroom. Well, we are at my mother's house. I don't have the best relationship with her, but my wife thinks it's important, and I enjoy talking to my dad. So we were over with the baby chatting with my father and my mother cooking. As they were talking, she started feeding. Baby was eating, and she blanket covering her slightly. Dad has 6 kids, he couldn't give less of a shit. He looked away for a moment so she could get situated and engaged back in conversation without any issue. My mother comes in, gasps and goes on a rant. She said that is disgusting, and if she was to do that she should have gone home, especially in front of her husband, who apparently looks uncomfortable, and it's rude to do when you know people around you don't like it. Dad cut her off, saying to keep him out of it, and feeding a baby wasn't his issue. She ignored. Continued ranting, saying that she needed to respect herself more and don't ever do that in her house again. I stopped her. I said that she needed to get lost and get over herself. She had 6 kids who she undoubtedly did the same thing with, and this was just her way of taking her anger out, but she's not going to do it on her. I said that she was being a hypocritical a whole, and that this is the last time she's seeing wife or baby. This happened once and not going to happen again. Then she said she was just in a bad mood and she's so sorry she took it out on her, and she's welcome to do that whenever she needs to. I told her she should have thought about that before. Then went to my wife, who mid-rant left to the bathroom in hysterics, but didn't want to interrupt the baby's eating. We sat in the bathroom for a little while until baby was done. She stopped crying. We left. My dad said I was being more reasonable than he would have. Mom sent me tons of messages. Family is telling me I was being dramatic and that it wasn't that serious, and I was being entirely unreasonable. And if my wife was that hurt by it, she needed to grow thicker skin. She didn't even actually have an issue. She was just being mean. I think I was right to do what I did. But am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA. You stood up for your wife and she probably respects you a lot more for it. Your wife is a pushover, probably because of past experiences. And if anyone tells her to grow thicker skin, just tell them to suck it. Why does she need to grow thicker skin? Why can't everyone else be respectful and shut the fuck up about things their opinion isn't wanted in? Your mom is definitely the asshole. How is something as natural as breastfeeding disgusting to her? People have told me to grow a thicker skin my entire life. What it actually means is I just don't care enough to not continuously hurt you over and over, and I'm unwilling to change even in the slightest, so instead I demand that you change and stop being hurt when I do, or say hurtful and cruel things. Or at the very least pretend to be fine and hide if you get hurt, so that I don't have to feel bad over my casual cruelty, because I like to pretend that I'm a good person and that's more important than you and your well-being. My dad said I was being more reasonable than he would have. Based on your response, I believe your father said you are not the a-hole. I agree with him. Yeah, dad knows what's up. He's probably just as sick of her BS, if not more. NTA. Wow. Not only did your mother attempt to slut shame a breastfeeding mother, she also insinuated that it was done on purpose to make your father, her husband, have a reaction. The irony is she made everyone else uncomfortable by expressing these warped opinions. She tried to come off as the voice of morality and decorum, and ended up looking like a bitter bully. You did the right thing 100%. Right. It's a baby, and it's disgusting how it's made to be sexual. Am I the antagonist for not letting my roommate's family stay with us? My roommate and I share a 2-bed 1-bath. It's about 900 square feet, which is not too bad with only 2 people living in it. Alright. So my roommate's family wants to come down and see her, which I have no problem with. The problem started when her sister texted her asking if her and her 4 kids, ages ranging between newborn to 14-year, could also stay with us. I already knew that her mother would be staying with us because she said she couldn't afford to come down unless she stayed at our place. I was totally cool with that. But now she wants her mom, sister and her 4 kids to cram into this small ass space. That's 8 people for 10 days in this small apartment. So, I told her that wasn't going to work for meth, that there's no way that we could fit that many people in our place. It'll also add that my roommate and I are close and we consider each other best friends. Now, she wasn't happy when I told her that, and I could tell when she called her sister and mom that they were all irritated with me. I've been told that I'm being inconsiderate, while others have told me that there's no way we could have 8 people staying here for 10 days. I feel bad because I do care about her, but on the other hand I feel like what was being asked of me was completely unreasonable. I didn't even mention to her that on the lease we both signed we are not allowed to have overnight guests more than 3 nights in a row, because I know she probably wouldn't care about that, but I do. So, am I the antagonist? Update. There is no real update. I went back to my room last night when she was talking to her family, and then I heard her leave and she stayed somewhere else for the night. This happened late last night. She's back and things are a bit strained, but I haven't quite worked up the nerve to ask what the official plan is. Last I heard, Roomie was looking at Airbnb and going over the cost to split between all 3 adults. Her brother is also coming, but he and his wife have already got a hotel room sorted out. I don't know if I should let it go or bring it up to her, because I know that if her mom and sister don't want to split it, he'll be drawn into an argument about it, and he'll be the bad guy if she can't see her entire family. Feels like a lose-lose situation. Now for the top comments. NTA and I bet if you had agreed, next step would have been demands that you give your room to roommate's sister and kids. And if being a fire hazard of packed sardines wasn't fun enough, let's take a moment to highlight that a newborn baby is thrown into that mix. If anyone was deluded enough to think neighbors wouldn't notice that many people staying there and breaking the terms of their lease, a crying baby would be like painting a bullseye on their front door. NTA, she's asking for something unreasonable. There simply isn't enough room for that many people. 1 bathroom for 8 people for 10 days? If you ask me, Op was very generous to allow her roommate's mom to stay for 10 days. Fish and house guests. NTA, especially with 4 children of varying ages. Where the hell would everyone even sleep? Cramming everyone in for 1 night. Maybe, but 10 days is a long time. Am I the antagonist for not wanting to be a dad? I am 29, had a child when I was 19. I wasn't ready to be a dad, and I asked her to get an abortion. She refused and we decided she could keep the baby and I'll pay child support, but I wouldn't be involved in her life. I didn't tell my family about it. 3 months ago, when I was at work, I received a lot of angry messages from my parents asking me if I have a child. Apparently my ex had told them everything because she is sick and wants someone to look after the kid, since her own family refused to do this. They were mad at me, telling me it was very selfish to hide their grandchild from them. I'm an only child, and she is their only grandchild. They agreed to look after her and brought her into our home. Yes, I live with my parents to help them with the expenses. I told them that I can't stop them from doing this, but I still don't want to be her dad, and they agreed. She has been living with us for the past 3 months, but everyone forgot about our agreement. 2 days ago my parents left her with me to go somewhere. I told them I don't want to babysit, but no one listened to me. As soon as they left, she started coming into my bedroom with different excuses. I finally got annoyed and told her to go to her room and not to come out until her grandparents come home. My parents came back and freaked out when they found out. They called me an ass for being a horrible dad, but I never wanted to be a dad, and I made it clear several times. AITA. Now for the top comments. AITA. So move out. If you don't want to be a dad, go get your own place and pay the child support you paid your ex to your parents. They can also get help from the state as official foster parents, but might need to take courses. Your daughter needs someone to live with because her mother is sick. I would have reached out to extended family too if I was the only one able to care for my child and was too sick to do so. Sending her to her room because she's such an inconvenience to you is such an R move. She's still a human being who recently was uprooted from a life she knew. Yes, this should be the top comment. You worded it so perfectly. A lot of people are calling him R simply because he chose to not be a dad. Calling him a deadbeat and good for nothing. He can choose what he wants. But what makes him an arsehole isn't his choice to be child free. It's the fact he was uncivil to a child. Did anyone notice that her family refused to take care of the child? Her family knew, but still refused to help her and take care of her daughter. I'm not defending his inappropriate attitude towards the kid, but they both made a mutual decision 10 years ago. If he wanted her to keep the baby and she wanted to terminate the pregnancy, he would still be considered an R. If the grandparents want to take care of her, that's great, but he shouldn't be forced/guilted to. Am I the antagonist for causing a scene at my parents' anniversary? My wife and I, both white, have 2 kids, 6F and 4 meters. She also has a son, black, from before, 11 meters. I love him, as if he were my own son. My family was a bit reluctant to accept him at first, but most of them really grew to love him. He was only 2 when he came into my life, so I've basically been his dad his whole life. My brother is the only one that still hasn't accepted that I have a stepson. Never thought the black part bothered him as well though. We aren't close and only see each other for holidays and such. He is a pastor in Texas, where we grew up, and I moved to Chicago the first chance I got. Yesterday we were all the siblings with families, in Dallas again celebrating mom and dad's 40th wedding anniversary. My brother always brings all the kids little gifts that are usually really sweet and personalized. My son is obsessed with elephants at the moment and my brother got him the coolest stuffed elephant. My daughter loves the color purple, so she got a bright purple outfit she really loved, etc. My stepson got Roots, the book. He doesn't really love to read all that much, just comic books. I was wide-eyed. My wife didn't even notice because she wasn't at the table when my brother gave the gifts. I asked my brother nicely how come he got him the book, and my brother said well, so that he can find out where he comes from. I'm used to racism about my son from random people, so I just said oh. He's born and raised in Illinois, which usually shuts people up because it makes them uncomfortable. My brother then said I meant originally. I asked him to drop it, and then my mom came over asking the kids what they got. She was shocked about the book, but tried to go along with it to not upset my stepson, and said I'm sure mom and dad will read it with you and you might like it. My mom really does mean well, and then my brother goes, and you can pick yourself a name like Cuntikint or whatever like that. I lost it and told my brother to beat it and yelled at him that he really needs to stop being a racist prick. My dad said I ruined the anniversary. My mom says I shouldn't have yelled, but was justified to, and my siblings are split on the verdict. So I ask, am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. So your brother was blatantly racist to an 11-year-old boy and they somehow managed to spin it so that you were the one at fault for ruining the party? Go no contact with all of them. NTA. I mean, it sounds like the mom is on ops side and is just sad the party was ruined. NC for the brother for sure though. NTA. Give him Dance Inferno for Christmas. Make sure to add the note you might want to read up on where you are headed to. This was hilarious. Am I the antagonist for proposing to my GF at my brother's wedding and posting it on social media? My brother and his wife got married last week. It was a big beach wedding with about 100 people. While the bride and groom were doing their photo shoot that took an hour, the guests were walking down the beach, having some snacks that were served, talking to each other, etc. We were waiting for the dinner to be served and just killing time. My GF and I have been together for 10 years and have a kid together. Marriage just never came up. We are both really not the romantic type. When our son was born, I jokingly told her I'd propose to her on a beach at sunset someday. So after the wedding we were walking down the beach. We were alone. No one was even paying any attention to us at all because there were 100 people there. I just asked her so. Beach at sunset. "Will you marry me?" she said. We had a good laugh. Took a selfie together and slowly walked back to the site of the reception. We haven't told anyone we are getting married yet. It will be a courthouse wedding anyway. 2 days ago my GF posted that selfie on her social media. Tagged me and wrote a caption, "Finally marrying the love of my life," and a sunset beach proposal. Now everyone who knows us knew it was a sarcastic caption and knew it was more a joking post than anything else. Brother and sister-in-law called us very upset hours after that post. Sister-in-law said we ridiculed their wedding with our post. Brother said I'm enough for proposing at someone else's wedding. AITA. Now for the top comments. The whole reason you shouldn't propose at someone's wedding is because the attention should be on the bride and groom, and because it would be rude, insensitive etc to steal the attention from them. If you and your now fiancé were alone, didn't tell anyone until after the wedding and literally nobody knew about the engagement at the time, therefore you didn't steal any attention from the ones getting married, then I would say not the a-hole. This reminds me of a post where a similar thing happened at a destination wedding. Except the proposal was a day or two before the ceremony. They told no one. And the bride and groom didn't find out until like 5 years later, when they all returned to that same destination. And still the bride and groom were bent out of shape. I was ready to say you're the asshole, but you didn't propose in front of everybody. You didn't announce it at the reception and you waited 2 days to post it, so not the a-hole. Sister-in-law is the one who is ridiculous here. I actually agree with you on this. Had any of the other guests noticed, then a definite YTA, but the way this was under the radar, I'd go with not the a-hole. I was getting ready to vote YTA for selfishly using someone else's special day to make your proposal. But after reading the whole post, not the a-hole. You didn't announce it at the time and take attention away from the new lights. You didn't do it in front of a bunch of people. You didn't even tell anyone. You just quietly went about your business. And even the social media post came days after the wedding. Brother and sister-in-law are being laughable at their ludicrous notion that something they didn't even know had happened until days later has somehow retroactively ruined their wedding. Am I the antagonist for calling out my stepbrother on his Instagram post and embarrassing him? Throwaway because my friends know my main account. I am 17 and my mum, F39, moved in with my stepdad //SD M46 and stepbrother //SB M15 around 2 years ago. So I have a nice sneaker collection that I have amassed through working a casual job and reselling sneakers. Now SB, who hasn't showed any interest in my sneaker collection previously, I guess is at the age now where it matters more. He has been coming into my room more often to have a look at the collection, and he has also recently grown into the same size as me. This is important. Recently he has been asking me to let me wear some of the shoes in my collection. I'm opposed to this because 1. They're my shoes. I feel like I should have the final say in who gets to wear them. 2. He is not careful and absolutely thrashes his shoes. 3. Common sense. But wearing a shoe decreases its value significantly. I like to hold some unworn in case the price spikes. So every time he's asked, I've told him no. Recently he told me that he has a very important outing he's going to. He's just going out with friends and wants to wear one of the shoes. I told him no, but this time he threw an absolute fit and got SD involved. SD told me that I'm being greedy and that I should just let SB wear one since I have so many. I told him that I value each and every one of them and told him the resale value of the pair, and SD was absolutely shocked. This devolved into an argument about me paying rent, when really I paid for the retail price and not the resale price, which he does not seem to understand. SD and SB left when they realized I wasn't budging. I thought the situation was over. I headed off to work on Saturday. However, on the bus ride home I was scrolling through Instagram and SB posted a picture of himself wearing the exact shoe that I did not let him wear. I was so angry and I commented, "Why the fuck are you wearing my shoes?" He deleted my comment, but it seems like it was too late. some of his friends saw, which embarrassed him because he had told them that the shoes were his. He told SD about what happened, who called me in a fury asking me why did I have to embarrass his son like that, and that the shoes were worth fuck all. I yelled at him back that SB had no business wearing my stuff, and I had the feeling that SD encouraged it to. So fuck the both of you, and hung up. When I got home I got full on yelled at. He told me that I should be lucky that I'm allowed to live under this roof. My mum stepped in to defend me, and now they have been arguing for the past day and a half. I asked SB to give me my shoes back and he did. I told him to never touch my shit again, and have been holding it up in my room since. Things are really tense in the house now. So Reddit, am I the antagonist for not allowing my brother to wear my shoes, and then embarrass him on Instagram when he did so anyways? Now for the top comments. Tell him if he wants to start charging you rent, you're gonna start charging his son with theft. He knew you were part of the package when he married your mom and moved you into his house. Stepdad sounds like the kind of guy that wanted the mom but was hoping she'd drop her son with his dad or relatives. Feel sorry for Opus. NTA, and just so you're clear, your mom and stepdad aren't arguing because of you. They are arguing because of him and his mistreatment of you. I hope you see the difference. You didn't cause it. He did. Brilliant point and totally accurate. NTA, your stepdad sounds abusive. You're 17. He shouldn't be demanding rent or threatening to throw you out. It's his job as the parent to provide housing. Your stepbrother deserved to be called out. He stole something to pass off as his, and it's his own fault he got negative reactions when the truth was out.